In the shadow darkness of the night of October 10, 2025, at a clandestine airbase nestled deep within the dense western forests of Russia, Su-34 full-back fighter bombers were being prepped for a high-stakes mission. These massive war machines, each tipping the scales at over 45 tons fully loaded, were armed with two Kh-69 cruise missiles, the latest addition to Russia's air-to-ground arsenal. The Kh-69, a product of the Raduba Design Bureau, is a stealthy cruise missile weighing 1,566 pounds at launch, packing a 683-pound warhead, capable of striking targets up to 180 miles away, at speeds ranging from 435 to 621 miles per hour. Designed with radar-absorbent skin and a guidance suite blending inertial and GLONASS satellite navigation, the Kh-69 was poised to pierce Ukraine's air defense net and hammer strategic assets. But before diving into today's core content, drop a comment with number 1 if you back Ukraine, number 2 if you stand with Russia, and number 3 if you crave peace. Now, let's get back to today's rundown. At the airbase, technicians in gray uniforms hustled to inspect every detail of the missiles. They meticulously calibrated the guidance systems, ensuring the Kh-69's intricate flight path would evade enemy radars. Some technicians wielded handheld electronic devices to test signals from the missile's seeker head, while others scrutinized the compact yet potent turbojet engines that enabled the Kh-69 to sustain high speeds and maneuverability. The base commander, a battle-hardened colonel, stood trackside by the runway, monitoring the prep via a digital screen streaming real-time data. Orders from Russian Air Force Command had come down. Tonight, a massive coordinated strike would launch, unleashing over 460 aerial threats, including Shahed drones, Kinzhal ballistic missiles, Iskander systems, and a barrage of Kh-59-69 cruise missiles to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses.
As the clock struck 10 p.m. local time, the Su-34's engines roared to life, shattering the night silence. The pilot, Captain Oleksandr, a veteran of dozens of sorties over Ukrainian skies, ran a final check on his instrument panel. He received target coordinates, a sprawling ammo depot near Kharkiv, where Ukraine stockpiled 155mm artillery shells and Javelin anti-tank missiles, vital gear for frontline fighting. The Su-34 lifted off, skimming low at just 328 feet above ground level to dodge enemy radar detection. Beneath its wings, two Kh-69 missiles hung securely, primed for release at the optimal firing point. Throughout takeoff, Captain Oleksandr maintained tight encrypted comms with Command Central, relaying real-time status. Su-34-01, airborne successful, heading southeast, altitude 328 feet, weapons hot.
Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away in the Ukrainian Air Force's eastern command sector, tension gripped the air as well. On a low hill near a small village in Kharkiv province, a Ukrainian air defense unit stood at red alert. Beneath camouflage netting, the Vampire system from L3 Harris, a mobile platform built to counter drones, was deployed. This setup, in Ukrainian service since 2023, features 4 APKWS missile launch tubes mounted on a military truck. The APKWS, developed by BAE Systems, upgrades the unguided Hydra 70mm rocket with a semi-active laser seeker, measures 5.9 feet long, weighs 33 pounds, and costs about $25,000 per round, a fraction of the price of legacy air defense missiles like Patriot or S-300. The Vampire crew consisted of 3: Lieutenant Oleksandr, the team lead, a young officer with seasoned grit, Private First Class Mykola, the radar specialist with hawk-like eyes glued to his screen for threat detection, and Sergeant Serhiy, the laser operator tasked with guiding the APKWS missiles. They had drilled extensively on the system, originally designed to swat cheap drones like the Shahed, But with software upgrades and integration into Ukraine's radar network, Vampire now tackled tougher threats, including cruise missiles. Ukraine's defenders, embodying the steel resolve of the armed forces, held their flawless camouflage positions, primed for any emergency under the doctrine of active defense, decisive counterstrike.
At the Kharkiv Air Defense Command Center, officers pored over data from early warning radar grits, including 36D6M sets and upgraded P-18 radars. Around 10:30 p.m., an anomalous blip popped on screens, an object zipping low and fast on a zigzag track, constantly shifting course to break locks. Algorithms pegged it as a cruise missile, likely a Kh-69 based on speed, about 559 miles per hour, and stealth traits. Command instantly piped data to regional air defense units, including Lieutenant Oleksandr's Vampire team. Orders flew out: prep intercept on high-speed target, northeast bearing, range 75 miles. The directive crackled over encrypted links. All units go to Combat Alert 1, track Russian inbound, prioritize precision kill.
The Kh-69 missile, fired from the Su-34 at 492 feet altitude, kicked off its run. It hugged terrain at just 164 feet above ground, exploiting valleys and hills to mask its radar signature. The missile's inertial guidance, fused with GLONASS signals, kept it on a pinpoint path even under electronic jamming. For survivability, the Kh-69 pulled evasive maneuvers, yo-yoing altitude and direction to frustrate enemy locks. Its bullseye? The Kharkiv ammo dump on the outskirts, stuffed with hundreds of tons of shells and anti-tank weapons, a hit that could cripple Ukraine's eastern defenses. In the first 5 minutes, the Kh-69 crossed the border, skimmed 3 hamlets, and yanked 3 sharp 45-degree turns to shake preliminary Ukrainian border radars. At the Vampire site, Lieutenant Oleksandr's crew moved with urgent precision. Mykola's hands flew across the radar console, straining to hold the Kh-69's ghosting signal amid its stealth flickers. Target at 62 miles, 559 miles an hour, altitude 164 feet, he called out. Serhiy verified the laser rig, confirming the beam would guide true. Vampire tied into a linked radar web, pulling feeds from multiple sources for a threat panorama. Lieutenant Oleksandr, headset clamped on, kept a steady line to command for target updates. "Weapons free," he ordered, voice steady and ironclad. Mykola fired up enhanced scan mode, linking to 2 mobile radars 9 miles off, boosting track accuracy to 95%.
As the Kh-69 closed to 50 miles, Vampire's radar finally snagged a solid lock. The signal was faint, but network data from other sets nailed the position. Serhiy lit the laser, painting the Russian missile with an invisible beam. That beam would bounce off the missile's skin, homing the APKWS's laser seeker. In that pivotal beat, the trio held breath, eyes locked on the radar feed. Tension thickened the Vampire control cab. Mykola tweaked scan angles non-stop to cling to the target. The Kh-69, ripping at 559 miles per hour, threaded a narrow valley, leveraging terrain for cover. It jerked left, then right in dodges, making the radar blip stutter. But Ukraine's fused radar net, backed by scattered mobile stations, fed enough data for Vampire to stay locked. From 50 to 43 miles, the Kh-69 surged to 590 miles per hour, popping 2 sudden climbs from 164 to 262 feet. Yet Serhiy's beam trailed with just a 6.6-foot drift.
Lieutenant Oleksandr, posted beside Mykola, issued the command in a low, resolute tone. "Fire!" Serhiy hit the launch button, and a thunderous boom echoed as the APKWS streaked from its tube. The rocket's exhaust flared, briefly lighting a patch of night sky and trailing a thin white smoke wisp in the chill air. The APKWS, supersonic from the get-go, hurtled forward under the Vampire's unseen laser guide. Its semi-active laser seekers swept reflections off the Ka-69, tweaking course with uncanny precision. Time stretched in that instant. Serhiy, eyes welded to the display, finessed the beam angle to keep the Russian bird in the kill zone. Mykola tracked radar pings second by second. Target at 37 miles, 34 miles. Lock holds. The APKWS hit Mach 2.5 in 3 seconds flat, slashing the gap from 43 miles to 25 miles in 45 seconds, slicing over hilly ground without a waver.
The Kh-69, oblivious to the closing peril, pressed on. It ghosted over a barren wheat field mere feet off the deck, turbojets snarling in the dark. Its guidance suite refreshed coordinates nonstop, zeroed on the Kharkiv depot, where a clean hit from its 683-pound warhead could unleash a cataclysmic blast, shredding hundreds of tons of munitions and gutting Ukraine's defenses. For extra edge, the Kh-69 ran a gauntlet of evasions, spiking to 230 feet, then dropping to 98 feet, juking directions to scramble foe radars. But the APKWS's laser homing shrugged off radar woes. Serhiy's vampire beam clung to the Russian frame, ignoring the twists. At 19 miles out, the Kh-69 maxed stealth mode, slashing radar return to 5%, but its metallic skin still pinged the laser clear.
With the Kh-69 31 miles from target, the APKWS overtook it, matching altitude just feet overhead. Ukraine's missile, twice the sound barrier, closed with lethal grace. In a flash, the APKWS's seeker caught the Kh-69's glint and the warhead's fuse armed. A brilliant detonation lit the night like a fleeting, furious meteor. The blast ripped the Kh-69 apart, scattering metal shards across a desolate field dozens of miles shy of the depot. Glowing debris twinkled in the gloom, painting a scene of raw fury and somber triumph. The hit went down at coordinates 50 degrees 15 minutes north, 36 degrees 45 minutes east, altitude 148 feet, with a 66-foot kill radius and 0 civilian fallout. Vampire sensors clocked it instantly. Target neutralized. Mykola's radar cleared, the Kh-69 blip gone for good. Serhiy, a faint smile cracking, powered down the laser and ran a final gear check. Lieutenant Oleksandr, poise unbroken, keyed the radio. Kh-69 downed by APKWS. Confirmed kill. Cheers erupted from Kharkiv command over the headset, sealing the win. Vampire's footage, capturing the full intercept, streamed back for breakdown. The aerial burst, with wreckage raining like confetti, stood as stark proof of Ukrainian air defense prowess. Victory logged at 10:47 p.m. 100% intercept success. Detection to kill time 17 minutes.
Back at Kharkiv command, officers kept tabs on lingering threats that night. Russia's barrage, over 460 aerial assets, raged on. But the Kh-69 takedown shone as a beacon, a resounding score on the razor's edge. Later, OSINT analysts from technical sources confirmed the interceptor as APKWS, with Vampire outpacing its specs to nail advanced stealth cruise threats. In the next 2 hours, the Vampire unit bagged 3 more shotted drones, scoring 2 clean kills.
Meanwhile, at the Russian airbase, Captain Oleksandr and his squadron touched down safe after launch. Yet surveillance feeds showed one of the 2 Kh-69s off course. The base commander, chagrined, ordered a data deep dive on the flop. For Russia, losing a Kh-69 stung not just materially, but as a gut punch to the invincible hype around their cutting-edge gear. That night, Ukrainian air defenses grappled with hundreds more threats, downing 405 Shahed drones, multiple Kinzhal and Iskandar ballistics, shielding most of the homeland from the megastrike. The Su-34 flight wheeled in at 11:15 p.m., with prelim report, Missile 02 lost contact at 31 miles from target, suspected lasing intercept. The Kh-69 intercept marked a thumping Ukrainian triumph, tactical, strategic, and fiscal. Cost-wise, the Kh-69, laced with stealth and high-end guidance, runs $1 to $2 million per shot, config and build depending. Contrast that with the $25,000 APKWS, lean but lethal. Factoring one APKWS for the Kh-69 kill, Russia's wallet hit dwarfed Ukraine's by dozens, maybe hundreds-fold. Plus, the Kharkiv depot, valued at tens of millions, stayed intact, amplifying the coup. Total safeguarded stock, $45 million, including 500 Javelin rounds and 2,155mm shells. The October 10 aerial clash underscored the grit, ingenuity, and adaptability of Ukraine's air defenders. Amid relentless Russian pressure, they proved low-cost tech, wielded smart, can square off against top-shelf arms. The Kh-69 downing wasn't just a military notch, but a symbol of Ukraine's unyielding spirit amid the grinding conflict's brink. The humble vampire and APKWS, value be damned, emerged as icons of tactical smarts, heralding a fresh chapter in modern air defense craft. Drop a comment with number 1 if you back Ukraine, number 2 if you stand with Russia, and number 3 if you crave peace.